everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Tuesday Night Knit Chat. Again, we'll just quickly say we just want to make sure everybody can see us and hear us. We're coming to you from Southwestern Ontario. My name's Noelle.
In Canada.
In Canada, sorry, in Canada. Yeah, because we're not always in Canada, right?
Well, that's right. We're not, but tonight
That's
we
right.
are. I'm
That's
Kelly.
Right. Tonight we're in Canada. Okay, good. So everybody says loud and clear. Good. I see there was a great chat going on here before we started. Everybody was telling us what they were knitting. And Isabel said she only has a few more days before she's going to Martinique.
Oh, that would be
How
fun.
lucky are you?
How lucky. And it's going to be so warm there and lovely. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Jealous.
I know, because we were just spoiled and now it's not sitting outside knitting weather anymore.
I have fibers in my eyelashes tonight or something.
Okay, fibers in your eyelashes. I'm going to tell you what I did today. I'm going to recommend do not do this. Do not do this. It was actually yesterday. So yesterday I did a long bike ride, and when I was done, of course, I was like sweating and my hair was wet. And I thought, well, you know what? I have to have a shower. I have to wash my hair. So I'm just going to cut my bangs first because they're already damp, right? No. So I combed them all down and I cut them. Don't cut your bangs when your face is all sweaty because then all those hairs just stick to your face. I'm going, ugh.
Oh my gosh.
So don't recommend.
Probably not. Get out your Dyson hair dryer and just blow your face off, right? Like
I should have done that before I cut them. I should have blown the sweat off my face.
I'm starting to think I could use my Dyson for a facelift because like when you're blowing the front of your hair, it's like I feel like my face is going, ah.
Yeah, your cheeks are going like this.
Anyway. It could be a facelift. Yes.
Anyway, probably not even a good idea that you cut your own bangs. But you know, when you keep your bangs fairly long, it seems like they need cut all the time. And I'm not going to the hairdressers
No.
Well, since the pandemic, I've probably been 4 times.
I haven't been yet. I just keep cutting it myself at home. But when you have, it's just long, it's curly, it's going to do what it wants to do. I don't have that kind of hair that needs. I have hair that could benefit from a stylist, but I don't have the hair that needs it, I guess.
Well, I've been because I had weddings.
Yes. Well, I guess that's
right. So,
yeah.
But anyways, we're not a hair podcast.
No, we're not.
We are.
Or a facelift podcast or anything. We are a knitting podcast. Well, no, we are we are a multi-crafty, mostly knitting podcast.
We are. So we this is our Tuesday night knit chat, which is the Knit Chat Cafe, and we all get together and just have a good time talking about our knits and, you know, maybe some tips and tricks and stash building, and which is kind of like bodybuilding.
Well, no, it's not at all.
Well, the more you have, the more you have to lift.
Okay.
Well, yes, it is, because I had to move a lot of my boxes today to get at some yarn that I needed. So I had to move a lot of things out of the way. So that was my workout. So.
Hi, Jan. Jan is new to doing this. And she said, oh gosh, she's been binge watching us, Noelle, trying to catch up. Well, you've seen some hot messes then, Jan, I bet. Welcome to tonight. If anybody else is new here tonight, also a huge welcome. And if you are near a keyboard, feel free to join in the conversation that's going on the side panel. We will try to keep up with the conversation. There's a lot of people in here every week, and we are absolutely over the moon enjoying just these weekly get-togethers that we have. It feels like it's in a coffee shop, and I have to say, we got together at we try to get together every weekend, and we got together at our coffee shop last weekend, and there were 7 or 8 of us. I felt like we were 50 people in that room. We were really loud last weekend. There was like a high level of excitement. Sarah came from London. She had show and tell. She had some things she had made, some sewings. She had some things that she had knit. There was a lot of high energy in that coffee shop. And Heather couldn't make it. She was doing something else. And I feel really bad about that because she missed a really good day. But anyway, it's so much fun. So that's what we want this to feel like. It's okay. You know, sometimes we talk over one another. We try not to, but it's really hard. And there's a lot going on, and there's like a high level of excitement. I know for me, I'm excited every week. So
Yeah, and if you're looking for like a calm, relaxing, chill podcast, that's not it.
We're not that podcast. There's a time and a place, and I have my times and places for those podcasts where I want to just relax and have some quiet, chill time. Tuesday night is not the night for that. Tuesday night is my exciting night, and I am pumped to see what everybody has been up to this week. And Sarah says she brings the party. You did, Sarah.
Yes, you
You
did,
brought the
Sarah.
party. And Nick is rushing through her dishes to get here. Okay, we're here.
Okay. So I did go through some of the comments from last week. So there were a few questions. One of them was talking about our whips and how many whips we have and how do we store our whips. So, and I'm sure other people have information too on how they store their whips. Mine are in bags, in project bags. I also do all of my projects. When I start it, I put them on Ravelry. So if I can't remember what I'm working on, or, like think, oh, did I start that? Did I not? It is listed on Ravelry. So I can go back and I can see. And then usually it'll jog my memory. I'll know where it is. I have a couple that have been put in hibernation, but not very many. Most of them are basically in my top list of whips, because when you do have quite a few, it's a good idea to have them listed like that and to put in things like, okay, what needle did you use? If you did any modifications, especially if you're doing a pair of socks and you don't get to the second sock till later on, if you made any changes or adjustments, it's a good thing to put it on your Ravelry page just so that information is there. Mm-hmm. And in Ravelry, if you don't want everybody else to see all the notes that you put on, there is a little tab that says private notes. Mm-hmm. And you can go into that and you can put in whatever you want and nobody else ever sees that except you.
That's right.
So I'll sometimes do that if I say, cut yarn this amount or started with this amount or something like that. I'll sometimes put notes in there, and it's amazing because sometimes I'll go back and I'll be upset with myself because I didn't put a needle size in. And then I'm thinking, well, what size did I use? So I really try to be good about that now and put in the needle sizes, because I don't know about everybody else, but I don't necessarily always use the same needle size that the pattern calls for.
Nor do I. Something else that I have been trying, and I say trying because I've not been greatly successful. Something that I've been trying to do is after my projects are completed, especially sweaters, I've been trying to go back and actually measure my gauge and record that in Ravelry. And why that's important to me is because I tend to knit with some similar yarns sometimes, some of the projects, and that way that would save me from swatching. And I know I don't always swatch either, because once you get a comfort level with a certain set of yarns, then you're okay moving forward. But it would be nice, rather than me having to like run up to my dressing room and grab the sweaters and then measure everything out to see what I got, all I have to do is just go back and put it on Ravelry, all your notes in one place. So that's what I've been trying to do.
Well, and also you might use the same yarn, but you might use it at a different tension depending on what you're doing,
or different needle size. Yes,
that's right. You might like it like a lot of times when I use Holst, I've knitted at different tensions. Mm-hmm. I tend to like it tighter, but I have done it looser and it's fine too. So if you don't have that information as far as your needle size and putting your gauge in there, you're not going to know when you go to start another garment in the same yarn whether or not, and then you might have to swatch all over, or swatch, period. So, okay, so that was the first question. It looks like some people, you actually can put that information, and most of my projects do go in Knit Companion, unless it's like a pair of socks that I've done a million times. I must say my socks, unless it's a pattern sock, probably don't go into Knit Companion, but Knit Companion also does have a lot of space in it where you can put in your own notes and
yes.
Anything that you want. You can actually make notes right on the pattern itself. Mm-hmm. In Knit Companion. So
that's right. But the more details you can keep, I mean, as you make your way through your knitting journey, then all of these notes become sort of your history of knitting. And this is your reference book. Use these tools that are available to us. And Ravelry is a free tool. It's free. Mm-hmm. I use the paid version of Knit Companion, but I do tend to find too in Knit Companion, and I don't know, maybe I'm doing this wrong, but after I get like so many patterns in there that I've knit, it starts to irritate me that there are so many in there. And then I want to start going in and deleting. So it's better for me if I keep the notes in Ravelry that I would, because I use the I go to the pen tool in Knit Companion, and I have a stylus for my iPad. So I'm constantly writing notes in the margin. But when I'm done the pattern, what I try to do is take note of those notes, and I move those into the project page on Ravelry. And it's more for me than anybody else. It's just so I know. I don't know what I did last week. How am I going to remember what I did on a sweater 2 years ago? Let's be fair, friends.
With Knit Companion, like, because I've got quite a few whips going, and when you open Knit Companion, your projects are all listed in alphabetical order. So the projects that like, say I'm working on 3 projects, what I do is I name that project and I put like A Friday tea.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, that's a good idea.
Whatever else I'm working on, A Kavat, right? So then those projects all come up in the first couple of projects.
Okay, that's a great idea. Because what I don't like doing is just like scrolling, to find my pattern that I want to work on.
Or you can type in and it comes up, but then that takes time to type. I just find the ones that I'm currently working on, I just put an A in front of them and then they pop up first. So,
okay.
Okay, and as far as physically keeping them, I have lots of project bags. So most of them, there might be 2 in a project bag, but most of them are in project bags, and I can usually gauge by the size of the project bag that it's in what's in the bag.
Well, I have sock bags, and then I have sweater bags, and yes.
Yeah.
I also have knitting bowls. I tend to leave some projects around my knitting space that might just be sitting in bowls. They may not be in a bag. But before we leave that, I just want to go back to the note keeping. Nutty Nitty Sisters, I love that name. She says that she appreciates the notes that others leave on Ravelry so that she can learn. And that's infinitely helpful when I'm looking through to see if I want to make a pattern. As I'm looking at the pictures, you can see it will tell you if there are notes or no notes. And I keep flipping by the no notes, and I look for the one that have notes because I want to see what somebody else did if they made a modification.
You can also filter it up top to say you only want to see project with notes.
Yeah, but I might want to see it. I just don't want to click into it. So I do appreciate that it's there, whether it says it has notes or not. And then I know if I want to open that project instead of just looking at it. So, yeah.
And Ravelry, like, I think it's also good. Like, I really like when people put the amount of yarn that they used, because a lot of times designers overestimate the amount of yarn for a particular project, or you go through and you can see someone that's cropped it. Well, if I don't know how much yarn that you used when you cropped it, well, I mean, you don't have to put that information in, but it's very helpful if you do put that information in.
Yes.
Because, especially if you're using the same yarn as someone else, it's kind of nice to know what amount they needed for that particular project. So in doing it, you're keeping notes for yourself, but you are also helping other people.
Part of the community. That's what I feel. I'm contributing to the community when I'm leaving good notes, but I also feel that I want to get the wealth of information that the community has left for me. And just before we leave Ravelry, I know that you know this, but in case somebody else doesn't know it, if you are looking at a pattern, you can look at yarn ideas. Like if you have something in mind that it's not the yarn specified in the pattern, you can click on the yarn idea or the yarns, and it will show you what other people have made, and it's categorized by the yarn. It will tell you if, like 10 people made the sweater using Holst, 10 people made it using Cascade, so that if you have something in mind, you can pull it up that way. And then you can just filter it by those patterns or those projects that you want to look at and see if that's something, if you like the way it looks in a yarn that you're kind of contemplating. So there's so many good ways to use Ravelry. I don't know what I'd do without it. It's a rabbit hole, but
use it for tracking everything. But then, you get in there and then it's like one thing leads to another, and you've spent half an hour on Ravelry, and that's
half an hour. You can get out of there in a half an hour. I can't. It's a rabbit hole.
Okay. So then kind of related to that, someone also wanted to know how we store our leftover yarn. Like leftover from a project. Good question.
Well,
go ahead. If I have more than a skein left, I keep it in the catalog and put it back.
Me too. If I have less than a skein, I put them into little sandwich bags with the ball band, and then I keep them in. I have a little, not really a tote. It's kind of like one of those big fabric catch-alls. and they go in there in their baggies. That's if it's like, say, something this size, like a skein left over that size. So like a sizable skein that I could do something with. If it's a tiny little ball, then it goes into this little thing over my shoulder that Natalie has been eyeballing. And I'm going to be fair. Once it goes in there, it never comes out. I'm probably going to bundle some of those up for Natalie. She's the scrap queen. I am not. They just sit in there. I don't know what to do with something that small. I'm not the scrappy kind of person. So that's what I do. What do you do with your smaller leftovers?
Well, having said that, there's a bunch of them sitting on my table right now in my living room that I haven't put away yet. But I mean, I keep them all. I have a hard time throwing away yarn, even a tiny piece like this that I've cut off. I have a hard time throwing away yarn. But because I log most of my stuff on Ravelry, and then when I go in and update and say how much yarn I used, then it's still in my stash and I can see how much I've got left. So I've started, because I have so much fingering, I have started that I've got like one bin that basically just has fingering scraps that are less than like a full skein.
Yes.
But I still know what ones I have that I've got, a substantial amount of. But it is, I mean, the more you knit, it's just, I don't know, hard to keep track of it all, or I'm not really sure what the best way to store it is, whether it's by color, whether it's by weight. I still find I like it stored by weight, because usually if I'm looking for something, I'm looking for a specific weight and not necessarily a specific color.
Right. So, and I have like a whole cataloging system for my yarn. It goes by weight, but then it goes by some other things too. Like for instance, my fingering weight yarn, I call it my sock yarn. So single balls, not sweater quantities, because that's an entirely different category. So single skeins of like a fingering weight. Then I subdivide that further because I use like what I call commercially dyed fingering skeins. Or then I have another tote box that is indie dyed skeins, because I feel like they deserve to live on their own. And, then everything else gets categorized by weight, and sweater quantities are all by themselves, and sweater quantities always live in bags inside the tote box with all of the sweater quantity yarn together. So there's lots of
I'm not
rules.
That organized.
Yes, you are. You're very organized.
No, I'm not. I don't have sweater quantities together, because normally I don't. When I buy it, I'm not sure what I'm going to knit with it.
Well, maybe it's because your sweater quantity is 2 skeins and mine is like 4, maybe.
Anyway,
depending on the size. Yes.
Anyway, okay. So, moving on.
There's a bunch of questions in here.
About
lots of things, and I'm trying to like hold up on them without going further. But so let's just answer a few of those quickly. Okay. This is a quick and easy one. That was directly to me. What nail polish do I wear? Sally Hansen. That's what I wear. I like the brush. That's my favorite brand. Okay. There was somebody asked about my vest and what I'm wearing it with. We'll get to that in 1 minute, so I won't lose that one. And there was another question. Alice says we need to be sponsored by Ravelry. No. Stacy says Ravelry's her daily coffee break when she's at the office. Oh, that would be dangerous. I
know, it's hard to, it's like, seriously, you go down, first of all, you're looking for something specific, and then you think, oh, what's that yarn? And then you want to see what's made in that yarn. And then you go like, into that, and then you see a pattern, and then it's like, well, who's that designer?
Yes. That's a good point. Iwa has a good point. She says, when people are commenting on Ravelry, and I do find this sometimes too, it would be more meaningful if they said what size they actually knit in the project. So they may tell you how much yarn they used, but you have no idea what size they were going for. So like I try to find, like I'll find a picture of somebody wearing the sweater and I'm like, oh, I look like I'm about that body size. Maybe that's the same size sweater that I would knit. So I find myself doing that a lot.
Yeah, and I do that too.
I try very hard to always put the size that I knit into my Ravelry notes. Yeah. Okay. I had somebody else ask me a question earlier, and it had to do with a yarn and colors that were suggested. And yes, we're going to get to that because I picked it up and swatched with it. So that was a success. And there was one other thing. Somebody had sent you a message, and she said that she sent you a message an hour ago.
Yeah, just about an hour ago. Well, you start talking about what you're wearing, and I'll go look at what that message was.
You always give me a prompt when I'm ready to not say anything. Okay, let's move in to what we're wearing tonight. And I also just realized as soon as you told me to do that, I put nothing in for information. Normally I try to put a slide in. This is a vest and I forgot to do it. So this is a vest. It's called the Always Vest and it is by, oh my gosh, Anna Daku. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Noelle, from another room. By Anna Daku, and I knit this holding 2 yarns together. This is Holst Super Soft in oatmeal, as well as Drops Alpaca in, those are colored, are numbered yarns. They don't actually give you a color. I think it may translate to the word sand, something like that. It ended up being like the most perfectly paired yarn. So the colors look like it's just one, like you can't even tell where one color starts and the other one ends. I love the mix of it. It's a cropped, I don't know, I'm wired here. I can't really stand up. Maybe I can a little bit. It's a cropped vest. And I'm just wearing it tonight over a linen shirt. It's got a very interesting, I'll turn this way so you can see, it has a really interesting knitted panel down the side. And I love the idea of a vest. I did modify it slightly. I narrowed it a little bit, a few stitches in the shoulder. I wanted it to sit more here. I think the original pattern had the vest sitting kind of like out a little bit more. I like it to sit right up on the angle of my shoulder, I guess. And then it's got like some very interesting, little bit of garter stitch down around the ribbing. I wear it a lot. I've worn it over dresses. This is the first time I've ever worn it with an actual shirt with a collar. And I have some other shirts that are not collared that I've worn it with that I like, but I'm kind of really liking the way it looks with this linen shirt. It looks, yeah, it's nice. And it's a nice way to incorporate knitwear without, some people say, oh, it's just too much knitting. And the other thing that I love about a vest is that if you have a denim jacket, which if you live in Canada, of course you have a denim jacket, we call that our Canadian tuxedo, then you can put that on and you can wear a nice fitted jacket or even a blazer over top of a vest because you've got no extra bulk in the sleeves. So it was, and it's a quick knit because there's not a lot to it. Like I said, it's cropped and I love it.
No sleeves.
No sleeves, no sleeve island. Yes.
Okay, so this was a question from Joy. So she said she's knitting the Twists and Turns shawl by Stephen West. She is on Clue 2, section 3, the one where you do all the purl stitches in the short row and twisted rib section. It was mentioned on someone else's podcast that some figured out how to knit this section instead of purling it and still achieve the mirror image. Do you know of this hack or where I might be able to find it? So I don't, because I haven't knit that, but lots of people I'm sure in here have knit the Twist and Turn shawl. So if anybody knows, maybe they can pop that information in there. And then Joy would have that information. So like I do maybe remember someone saying something about it at one point, but because I didn't knit it, I didn't really take note of it, or I can't remember. But yeah, or if anybody, if anybody knows and finds out after, if you want to pop me that information, then I could put that information in the show notes under the video. So I hope that helps, Joy. I hope you get an answer. So, because I don't mind purling, but I mean, yeah, knitting is still faster. So.
Okay. And what are you wearing?
I am wearing the Somerset by Beth McDonald Stone. So there's a picture so you can see it's kind of a little bit cropped, but not too much. And I do have a banner. Oh, you got it. Okay. So this was a test that I did for Beth McDonald Stone, but it is out now. And this is done in Holst Garn, super soft, held single. So the main color is Cloudberry. The colors up in the yoke, which I love the yoke of this sweater. The colors in the yoke are bleached white. The green is Calypso. There's purple flowers across, which are thistledown. And then the pale color just kind of around it that just kind of blends in is called Sugar Snap. I definitely would recommend knitting this. It's actually a perfect sweater for this time of year because it's not long sleeved, and it's not, the whole held single is not a super warm. I mean, it's warm, but it's not, it's not like having an Aran weight sweater on.
But
And
it's so light too. There's
the
no weight
sleeves
to
are
it.
only like 3/4 length. The yoke is super fun to knit.
And it's really pretty.
I don't know, anything with flowers. I saw another couple of things. It was a really cute kids pattern that just came out with it was all over colorwork, and it just had different flowers all across it. And it was so pretty. But anyway, so yeah, so really happy with it. I like how the yoke fits. I like knitting with Whole Super Soft. I think I finished the sweater when I was in New Zealand, but I didn't block it till after I got home. And there was a big difference between Super Soft, not blocked, and blocked. Huge difference. Like you get more drape, the fibers kind of meld together, because kind of when you're knitting Whole Super Soft and you hold it up, you can kind of see it, like it's got spinning oil in it, so it's kind of compacted. But then once you block it, it just blooms beautifully. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's magic. Just blooms.
Blocking magic.
So Alice, the increasing in the yoke was fine. I don't think you can like really tell anywhere. Like she's got them strategically placed so they're not in the middle of any of the motifs. So, and again, the blocking of this, the dark color, I did kind of block the bottom or wash it out first to get a lot of the color out of it, but then I put it in the water, and the water was still blue, but none of the color transferred into the white on the sweater. So,
okay. I think Mindy may have, are you done talking about sweater?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Mindy may have popped back in with an answer to that question.
To Joy's question. Okay.
Look at Knit 365 podcast from October, and he tells you how to do that.
Okay. Thanks, Mindy. I knew someone would know. So.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm trying to catch up on comments now. I'm way behind.
Oh, I know. Rachel wanted to know. Rachel's my daughter-in-law, and she's going to London in a couple of weeks. And she wants to know if anybody knows of any yarn stores in central London that she might be able to visit. So.
Oh, I think there's a few really good ones there. I couldn't remember the name right now.
She knew about Beautiful Knitters. I think that's the one that she said she knew about. I guess maybe she's just not sure. Like, because London, I think, encompasses quite a big area. Oh yeah, London, England, not London, England, Ontario. Yes. Good point, Rach. So if anybody knows of any, just let us know. Maybe Rachel will get to go there. Maybe we can get her to take a little film while she's there.
Yes, that would be fun. At a yarn store, please. Loop London.
Becky
yes, that's
Loop
the one I've heard of.
Yeah, a couple of people have said Loop. So. And maybe rob a bank or two so they can buy all the lovely yarn.
Very nice.
Anyway.
Oh, that's good news. I'm just reading Sarah's comment. Sarah had made some absolutely beautiful dresses, sewn some dresses for her niece. And she said, oh, I don't even know if they're going to fit. But she's just chiming in now to tell us that the dresses that she made for her niece fit.
Perfect.
These were adorable. One of the dresses I would so wear. It was this polka dot. It was navy with white polka dots, and it had like these little pin tucks across the yoke and the sweet little collar. I'd be down for that for sure.
Julia says Tribe Yarn is in Richmond, and Rachel says she can stuff her suitcase with yarn. Well, yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we do. So. Okay.
Oh, that sounds amazing, Isabel. Isabel says she's thinking of making this sweater with slow.
Yay.
Old gold and flannel gray. That would look amazing.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would look amazing.
Yes. The body would be in slow for sure, she says. Absolutely amazing. Yep. Okay. Yep.
So okay.
Can we talk about whips then? Because I want to talk about slow. I got some slow going on. Slow.
Aren't we going to talk about finished objects?
Can we do that after?
Fine.
Oh, well, Isabel brought up slow. Fine. So a little while back, okay, let me start with this. This is slow. This is probably mine and Noelle's favorite pulsed color. The depth of this color is just incredible. I just showed you my bad nail. Shame on me. There, I needed to do my nails today. But anyway, we love this color. Look at, like, there's little pops of hot pink in there. It's very, very
and
dark.
Green. There's green in it.
There is even green in there. And Holst has a lot of colors that go together, but slow is a stand alone. There is nothing that pairs with the slow but slow. And this is the super soft, and I always want to knit something with it, but I like to hold something else with the super soft, and I couldn't find anything. So I had somebody suggest this, and this is the Knit Picks Alpaca Cloud, and this is lace weight, which would be similar to Holst's Titicaca. And this is color Oscar. Are you seeing this?
Oh, wow.
And
that's pretty.
Look at this together.
Yeah, that looks good.
It's just that perfect yin to the yang. So I did a swatch this week and I blocked it. And look at this finished project. Look. How gorgeous are those two yarns together? Absolutely beautiful. So where am I headed with this?
What is the Knit Picks one called? Just
Oscar. It's Alpaca Cloud.
But
Alpaca Cloud.
Okay.
And it's a lace weight. And the colorway is Oscar. So in a 50 gram ball, you get 440 yards. So when you hold this with a lace weight, what you get is a DK. And I am looking at making a sweater by Tanis Lavallee. It's called the Camaro. And I knit up this little sample and I got gauge right away. I got perfect gauge and I just love it. I couldn't love it more. So what am I holding with this? Here's the exciting part. And this is part of acquisitions. This is like a whole lot of thing in one. Julia knit a Cozy Classic raglan using some of the King Cole Cosmos. And I'm here for it. And Noelle and I decided a couple of weeks ago, well, we had to have some sequence. So this is the King Cole Cosmos in colorway Lunar. Look at this. Look at that. And the thing is, I don't really want to pull anything out here, but it's not like the yarn is like sequined there's maybe like a sequin every 4 inches on it. So then when you hold it together with this, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So this colorway seems to be in a real shortage right now. And Wool Warehouse, where I bought it, had one ball of it, one. And I thought, what can I do with one? I kind of needed 2. So what I decided to do, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I did bring a picture in. So this is the Camaro sweater by Tanis Lavallee. And what I was thinking that I would do was, and I was going to just about point at my screen, which nobody can see. Why do I do that? So I'm planning to do, let's talk about the beige sweater on the left side that Tanis is wearing. I would do the teal stripe at the top in just the slow colors, no glitter. And then there are 72 rows of the striping. So I was planning to divide that 72 into 3 sections. And the first section I would hold the glitter. And then I would do a middle section back in the plain slow. And then in the third V section that I would do also the glitter, just so I would get a very, very subtle glitter effect. Now, having said that, I started doing the deep, and why I haven't cast it on, because boy, I really want to. Why I haven't cast it on, I started kind of diving into that Camaro sweater a bit after I gauge swatched. A few people have said that they had some issues with getting too much fabric at the back of the sweater. So I'm a little concerned about that. I don't want to get myself into a situation where I have to try to pick out glitter. I don't think that'll go well. So I want to make sure that I've got a sweater that's going to flow easily. So I did find something else, and I wanted the sweater for Knit City for next month. So I did find something else that I think might work and maybe even work better. This one is called the V-Back Tee by Jamie Hoffman. So this is the back, and I love that V in the back. And this one is the front of it. And here's the thing. She has written the pattern so that you can wear it either way. It's completely interchangeable. So I'm wondering now about making this one instead. Any thoughts? Anybody have any thoughts on this?
I think that Sarah did that tee and had problems with it fitting.
That one as well? Oh,
I think so. I could be wrong, but I think I remember her talking about it. And
okay. So
so
Emily
Sarah's
said
in
that
here, she
she's
can let
made
us
it
know.
and she wears the V back tee backwards. So backwards meaning you put the V to the front? I don't know. I just thought it would. It's funny. Julia said, "What about the V back tee?" Yes. So I
Did
don't
you go
know.
through the notes? Did you go through the notes on Ravelry for that and see?
No, because I found that one late last night, and then I thought,
Okay.
okay, rabbit hole again. I can't sit up here all night and start deep diving into that. So
Yeah, Sarah said she made it and ripped it out.
ripped it out. Oh, now I don't know
Well,
what to do.
that's the same thing with the other one too, right? Some people said it was okay, and some people said so.
Yeah. Okay. I might think a little bit more about it, but Becky said that her Camaro fits great. I just kind of got a little bit excited when I saw the V back tee because I thought, oh, hey, it's short sleeves. And I feel like it's going to be really warm in Montreal. Even though we're knitting these sweaters, I feel like it's going to be warm.
Warm, yeah.
And I thought it would be weird. Alice said the V back fits wonky too. But Sarah also said that it's been updated recently. I don't know. I don't know.
So I might as well
Okay.
finish on the Montreal thing before we go on to anything else.
Yeah, because I know
So
you cast on some glitter, didn't
I
you?
didn't. No, I didn't. I did
Oh,
not
okay.
cast it on. I did not cast it on yet because I have samples that I have to finish first.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's
Just
what I was told.
1 second.
Okay, go
Can I
ahead.
ask one more question before you go?
Yep.
The version that I looked at of that V back tee, I'm just seeing here in the comments, is the DK. And I know that she had done a fingering weight pattern first, and then she released the DK, and then she re-released the fingering weight. And I'm just wondering, maybe the DK runs a little easier. Kristen said she made it and she loves it. But she made a fingering version and she wears the V in the back. And she also made a DK version that she wears it in the front. So I don't know.
You'll just have to look some more on Ravelry and see.
Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
So that's okay. Because of the fact that we do think that it could be warm, I decided that instead of doing a pullover, I think I'm going to do a cardigan. That way it's open in the front, but I'm just going to do a little short cropped cardigan. So I think I'm going to base it on Felix cardigan because it's a fairly loose gauge and it's got the little, here I am pointing with the mouse again, but it's got the little eyelets at the raglan increases. And then I think I'm just going to like crop it to just above waist length so that if you wear it with a dress, it'll look fine. It's the stitch gauge on this is 14 and I probably want about 17. So I'm just going to do the math and go up the size to get that. But again, I got my glitter yarn too.
17 is exactly what I got on this one, by the way, on 4 millimeters. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's kind of the gauge I'm going to shoot for. So my glitter is the silver with all the sequins in it. And I am going to hold it with the Leo and Roxy marled and this.
Oh, that's going to be so pretty. So pretty.
So, and then it's even hard to imagine, but we saw Julia's and Julia did.
You can't even tell it's a marled yarn.
No. And Julia, what was the sweater? Julia did the
Cozy Classic
raglan, and she had this, the Leo and Roxy marled. She had the silver in the Cosmos, and then her mohair was purple haze. And so this mohair, you can see it's not just a solid color. It's kind of
it's got like a creamsicle
that would look amazing
pink and orange
with a black skirt. So that's what I think I'm going to try. And like I said, I'm just going to do it as a little short cropped cardigan. That way you can button if it's cold, you can open it up if it's not. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do the sleeves poofy, or maybe I might even just do them to there.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
I even think it would be fun to do a cardigan like in like a super short weight, like just, you know, like to this weight. If you're going to wear it, if your intention is to wear it like as a evening summer project, it would be fun to have a short sleeve cardigan and no sleeve island.
And then I want to find some little mirror ball buttons.
I want mirror ball earrings. Or no, I think that's what Julia should wear. I guess mine won't really go with mirror ball because it's dark.
Natalie will with the silver.
Natalie was asking what color. And yes, you have the gold. I got gold as well.
So this gold is called Stardust.
Stardust. And this one is actually called Lunar.
And then this one, the silver, is called Starburst.
Yes. And yes, Alice is remembering that Marianne has a lovely sweater in pink and glitter. Oh my gosh, her sweater is gorgeous. So
that's we're kind of out of order. That's the plans.
Yes, we want to be the glitter gals in Montreal, and Julia's coming too. So we plan to wear our glittery sweaters. So I'll be the least sparkly, I think, though, because I'm only going to have a little bit. I don't know. I don't know which one to do. I need to make a decision.
Okay.
All right.
Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Are you not working on anything else?
Yeah, I did not start a new sweater this week. No, I did, but not for me. Okay. But I do have some FOs.
Okay, we'll get to those.
Are we still doing whips?
Spoiler alert, Kelly has none.
Well,
yes, we're doing whips.
I kind of got anxious because I did have a week where I didn't have any and I have to make up for it.
You did. And Kelly had some that week. Okay, no, carrying on with whips. I'm not working on anything spectacular that I wasn't already working on. I finished I sort of finished. I finished the body of my Heartwarmer tee that I'm making in the Sonder yarn that I bought in Montreal last year. And I want to wear this sweater in Montreal. So now I'm onto the sleeves. And the reason I didn't finish off this sweater on the bottom is because I'm also working on a pair of pants that I'm not quite finished. I'll talk about those in a bit. And they are a high-waisted pair of pants. So I plan to wear this sweater with them. And I wanted to make sure that the sweater is going to be the perfect length. But I am loving this sweater. And the fit on this is amazing. This yarn is a dream to work with.
I know, the yarn is amazing.
And I did make the decision to just do a plain stockinette sleeve. In the pattern, there's short sleeves. So the sleeve would have ended here at this broken rib section. And I decided that I'm going to just do it in a stockinette in a 3/4 length. And even though the body has this really pretty, it's called grapes pattern, but I think it's a busy sweater. It's got a lot going on. So I think I'll be okay with a plain stockinette sleeve. Now I've got
and a lot of times
with a sweater
that's you're going to have with your sweater that's got eyelets in the bottom, basically most of the time you're going to have something under that. Whereas your sleeves, if you had the eyelets, it's not going to match because you may not necessarily have something on your arms. Then you would have whatever color here under the eyelets, and then under your arms you would have flesh color. So if you just do the sleeve solid, then you avoid that hole.
Which is what I fall into every time I wear my Love Note, because it's quite open. And I always think, like, if I'm wearing like a tank style dress underneath it, I think it looks funny to see my skin at the neck and then the dress like through here and then bare on the arms. So this way I'll be consistent. But I love this. I love this pattern. It is, again, it's called the Heartwarmer Tee by Justina Lorkowska. So I'm hoping by next week, this will be an FO that I can show off. I honestly didn't put in a lot of knitting time this week. I had a little bit of knitting at the coffee shop, and because I was so chatty at the coffee shop, didn't even get a lot of knitting done at the coffee shop. All I did was cast on this sock, and I'm just a couple of inches down the sock. I have very little progress to show this week. Well, I shouldn't say that. I did finish the body, and I'm a good portion of that sleeve done, but I've got to get knitting. I have to knit. Okay.
Okay, well, my whips are, I have 2 whips, and they're whips that are samples for Leo and Roxy. Last Wednesday after Knit Chat, I took back the Friday tee that I'd finished. So I had to start the other one of that, but then they also asked me if I'd do some socks for Montreal. So
For
I
Montreal.
I just basically got them started. So that's all I've got so far. So they are going to be the work sock. So I've just started in there. It's 3x1 rib in the marl.
The marl.
So this is the marl in pink flamenco.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so instead of having the white with the stripe, where the white is going to be black. So the cuff's got the black, the toe is going to be black, and then the heel is going to be that pink flamenco color. And then the rest is the 3x1 rib in the marl. So I think they're going to look really good. Like that contrast looks really nice. And this yarn feels amazing to work with.
Oh, I know. We love that
so
yarn.
I do know they've got some sets. I don't know if they're up on their website yet. And I know they're going to have them at Montreal, but the sets with the colored marl and then some contrast colors to do the work sock, like in a marled color, as opposed to just the black and white marl.
Nice.
So that's got to work on those. And then when I was there, they decided to change the color that I was going to do for Jillian's sweater. Because originally it was going to be like one of the grays, like a heathery gray with black stripes, which would have been fine. But, you know, it would have been boring to knit because it's my 3rd adult Friday tee. So here is the start of the one I'm doing now.
Oh, wow.
Look at this. So
that
I just started, I've got the neck done. It's going to be all in neons and it's going to be color blocked. So that's
there will be no losing
color.
that person in the crowd.
Here's the next color.
Oh my goodness.
And then here's the next color.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
So it's going to be color blocked, like, it's going to be 6 stripes all together. So I knew the number of rows, so I divided it all up to get the length. So it's going to be the pink, the orange, the teal. I'm not sure what these colors are called yet, because this is definitely a brighter color than this pink flamenco. But I love it. I love it. And I love working with it. I love the neons. You're right. Everybody's going to know where Jillian
Irene
is.
says she needs sunglasses.
So
yeah, there will be no losing that person.
I don't know that they've, I don't know, I have that inside out. I don't know that they have got these colors out yet, but they are going to have them in Montreal. So there's again, and I really do like this sweater and I really do like knitting it. But even like, wouldn't it even look cool if you just did like a white one and put in some of these neon stripes?
Oh yeah.
So, and this color I love. I've actually got a pair of summer pants that are exactly that color. And I'm thinking of doing like a white tee and just putting a pop of that color in.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of that color.
No.
Bruna, I think you're right. Bruna says they better have a lot of those kits with them. I think so too. Yes, absolutely.
So,
Julie said they scream summer.
This I believe is their basics that they've dyed. The basics yarn. So it really does feel very nice. And I might have to have one in some of those neon colors, but anyway.
It's a lot of color.
It's a lot of colors. So those are the 2 things that I don't even know if I'll get to start my cardigan yet this week. I really want to get those done. So that then that's out of the way. And just a little wee short crop cardigan at a 17, 18 stitch gauge isn't going to take that long.
So.
Okay.
Just before we walk.
Do you have any other?
No.
Whips?
But just before we leave that, a couple of people, when I held the sock up on this, they were talking about my little sock ruler. This is a handy little tool. So this is the metric side, obviously. And then there is the inch scale. And then also on there, it does give you the sizes for men and women's sock and the length of those sizes. It gives you both that in the UK size, which is probably not as helpful. I don't know. There's even a little tool on there that says Kitchener stitch. because I keep looking at it in the screen and I'm reading it the wrong side. And the soccer's gauge. And then even at the top, there's this little thing so you can pop needles through to check the sizes.
Yeah.
So I got this a few years ago, and it's in a nice, like a plywood, it's pretty shiny. It's nice and smooth. And I do use it a lot if I'm doing toe up socks. I don't use it as much if I'm doing top down. But what I do like to do, because I knit with 9-inch sock needles, you can't really put them on a blocker to look at as you're going, because you would pop stitches off the little needle. Right. So what I have done is I take my cord and I've cut just a small section of cord that I pop on. Also, that's a great thing to use as needle stoppers. If you have the pony cords, you can just cut small, short lengths. But what I often do with this is I just kind of pop this on if I want to look at something, because it fits on there without pulling stitches off the 9-inch. So again, I got this from Etsy, but I know that there are quite a few stores that sell them, and I'm sure you just call it a sock ruler and you'd be able to find that. Okay.
Okay. FOs.
No. Oh, no. I was working on something else though. Okay, I'll leave it till after. It's some sewing, so I'll talk about it after.
Okay. I have 3 FOs this week because I had to make up.
Boaster.
I didn't have any.
Boaster.
So the first is my Dunbrock socks by KF Jones.
Oh,
I know I have a banner. Okay.
I'll look. You talk.
So these are the Dunbrock socks. They are done in, you can, and she shows them in her picture with the cuff like this, folded down.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also wear them with the cuff up. They've got a pattern that goes down each side of the sock. And I'll show that I did get them right. They're on, they are mirrored and on the opposite side of the foot. And then they've got this really neat texture pattern that goes all around the sock, which even if you chose not to do like the cable that goes down the side, just that texture pattern it's just like a broken rib, but it's a really nice pattern.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's really nice.
They've got a heel flap and gusset with a square heel turn. Her pattern has got, I believe, an umbrella toe, but I actually totally forgot that. And I was knitting it and not looking at the pattern and just did the regular rounded toe that I normally do. These are done on a 2.25 millimeter needle, which is what I do all my socks on. This particular amount of stitches is 64. I do knit fairly tight, so these do fit me nicely. And this is done in the Barocco vintage sock, which is the same composition as the other Barocco vintage yarns. So it's, I think, 40% wool, and then there's
nylon,
acrylic, and
acrylic. Yeah.
Anyway, they feel really nice. They don't really feel like acrylic-y. They feel really nice. I don't know if you can see that it's a beautiful heathery shade. Mm-hmm. I believe this color was called dark cherry or black cherry, maybe. Anyway, so that's my first FO. Mm-hmm. Then my second FO is the Wayworth cowl that I was working on.
Oh, that turned out really good.
So this is all done. So it is when you pull it out long, it is.
That turned out so good.
I turn it down like this to put it on. I'll just put it on here. So it sits really nice, like around the neck.
I like that. I like that a lot.
You get the view of the, where are we? Pull that down there. Like you get the view of the pattern, which the pattern, it is a mosaic stitch cowl. But then the little raised ones are done with wrap stitches. So it's kind of a combination of both. You've got the mosaic, and the wrap stitches is kind of like a little bit like the Rusamine technique, but you're doing it with the yarn that's already attached. It's not another separate yarn. I do really like, it's nice and close to the neck. It's not super long. Like, honestly, it's perfect for on in a jean jacket like this time of year when it's still a little cool out.
Yeah.
And I believe it took this, the main yarn or the background yarn is Juniper Moon Farms Patagonia in smoked. So it's like a medium gray. And then all of the texture and all of the mosaic is in Stonehenge Fiber Mills Crazy that we bought.
Oh, that we bought in
Columbus.
Columbus, yes.
Yes, we bought in Columbus. So it used about 50 grams of each one. So there's about, they're both sport weight yarn. So it's about 300 meters of yarn. But like, I think you could even do this, like this was done on a 3.75 millimeter needle. I think you could actually do it on a 4 millimeter needle with fingering weight yarn, because you've got a double layer with the mosaic. And so like if you got like a set that was like some of those full moon fiber sets that got the 2, you could probably do it with that. Like if you had maybe a solid background color, I think it would look really good with a variegated and then have your multicolor all over. It would be a wonderful way to use up like one of those skeins of variegated yarn that you're not sure what to do with. Because I find if you put a variegated with a solid color, it really tones down the variegated. And then I think all of this texture would really pop.
Yes, I think so too. It's beautiful. I love it.
I'm really happy with it. It's you knit it flat and then you seam it. So but the seam is only like one seam up the back.
Okay. So
you're basically
similar to our shifty towels too, right? Yeah.
So you kind of like your knitting direction is like this, right? So this is kind of where it starts with an I cord and then you're knitting up, but you're knitting up, but you're really
sort of on a diagonal. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I really like it. I can definitely see myself doing. And I think one done in a fingering weight yarn would also be a nice, like just little, as opposed to wearing it for the warmth, just like a nice little decorative piece. So, okay. And then my last finished object is my cravat.
Lynn was meant just before you show that. Oh, okay.
Oh, what?
I was going to say, Lynn was mentioning that she finished Irene's pattern.
I got to get mine out and wear it.
The sampler cowl. Now I'm trying to think of what it was called. Yeah,
row by row sampler cowl.
Row by row sampler cowl. Yes, and she actually used the Arco Iris, which was the same colorway that I used to make mine. And I love it. I absolutely love that. And it's such a fun pattern. It's a lot like the sweater that I'm working on, the heart warmer. How you kind of go in these like sections of different things to do, so your interest is held through the whole pattern. Okay, all right.
So
now you're finished.
I am. So I've got my cravat. Okay. Whoops! I almost ended the broadcast there. Okay, so here is my cravat tee. This is by Caitlin Hunter. And this is done in Nurturing Fibers Super Twist stock. It's 100% merino. There's no nylon in it. I don't believe that it's superwash. The label says to hand wash it. So this is yarn that I got in New Zealand. Unwind and Knit with me when I went to visit Lisa.
With Lisa.
And the two colors are aged leather is the brownish color, and then the pink with the baubles in it is cherry blossom. So it took less than 2 skeins of the aged leather and only about like 21 grams of the pink, the cherry blossom.
Very pretty.
I absolutely love it. I did have a picture. I thought I put a picture of me with it on, but I don't. I have not blocked this yet, but it absolutely fits perfectly without being blocked. Like I'm not going to block it until I have to wash it, because it just, the way the pattern is, like it just fits your body perfectly. Yeah, it just kind of like molds to your body. So this is the one I'm thinking of doing again. I would have to adjust it because this is a sport weight. This yarn is listed as a fingering, but there's like 330 yards in 100 grams. So that's more like a sport.
Yes.
So I was thinking of modifying it, and this is what I would like to do with the white and this.
Oh,
wouldn't that look nice?
Oh, lovely. Yes.
So that I really might have to do that, because like I said, I loved knitting this. It was another one of those sweaters that I loved knitting this as much as I loved knitting the Miserina. Remember when we knit that? And
I know. I was actually thinking of wearing that one tonight. It was one of my favorite yokes.
Body, and it was just something more to do. the only difference that I did, like in Caitlin Hunter's pattern, the body is really, really short. And I think she only does 3 or 4 of these diagonal repeats here.
Yes.
I think I have 6. But my
Tell
row
the story
gauge
about
was,
Ross. Tell your
what?
story. How you kept trying it
say?
on and saying, is this
Oh
long
yeah,
enough?
it was like here. I said, do you think it's long enough? And you go, oh yeah, sure. Anyways, and then I'd be down to here and I go, do you think it's long enough?
Is it long enough yet? How about now? How about now?
But so mine is more repeats, but it's still not a long sweater. It basically just comes to about my waist. But my row gauge, I had more rows than Caitlin Hunter did. So it makes sense that I would have to do it longer. But once you get to that point, you can adjust it.
I have never matched her gauge. Like I can make things work, but and a lot of people have that issue. She is a unique gauge knitter, and I don't know how she does what she does, but the sweaters work out in the end. And it's beautiful.
Sarah's right. The actual pattern suggests lace. But if you look at the tension and the yarns that people have used or the yarns that she's used, they're basically like a sport weight yarn.
Yes.
But like you said, you can kind of adjust. Like you just got to look at your gauge and adjust.
It's also her picture of that sweater didn't even there's a yawn. Didn't even cross my radar. And then when I saw the sweater in the little clip that you did with the interview with Lisa, the first thing I thought is, oh my gosh, what is that sweater she's wearing? I want that sweater. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then you told me what it was, and I went and looked at the Ravelry page. I wouldn't even have recognized that it was the same sweater. Caitlin Hunter did hers in a highly variegated base for the body. And I felt, honestly, that the pattern, that beautiful pattern, got a little bit lost. So I like the way you and Lisa did yours, and something that can highlight that gorgeous stitch pattern.
Yeah. But I do think white with a pop of neon at the top for a summer one would look amazing.
That would look absolutely amazing. Yes. So, yes.
And I would say, like, that pattern was so much fun to knit. Like it reminded me of when I did the Miserine, and I just wanted to keep going and keep going. And
now I want to knit one.
So
I'm pretty confident I have some yarn that might work.
Oh, you probably do.
Think about that.
I wouldn't even mind thinking about doing like a one with long sleeve for the winter.
Yes. Oh, Jan says the yawn is contagious. Don't keep talking about the yawn. I was watching. Oh gosh.
In Juniper Moon Farms, you could do it. You could do it in Patagonia. It would look amazing in Patagonia.
Oh, I could. Yes.
So
I was watching the girls from Full Moon Fibers last night, and Jessica started yawning, and I thought, oh, there, I'm so happy. At least it's not just this old fart that's yawning. It's the young things too. But and then if you like get a thought in your head about yawning, I know that everybody starts yawning. And then I can't stop yawning because then I'm thinking, don't yawn, Kelly, don't yawn. But okay. A few people have said, please press like. Yes, thank you. Thank you, friends. That's very helpful. I should say too, before we move into the next thing, we had quite a few new viewers since the New Zealand podcast came out, and it's a lot of New Zealand viewers. So welcome.
Yeah. Welcome everybody.
And honestly, they have left some lovely comments, and now I get it. Like when I was reading their comments, I'm like, oh, they are such a lovely group of people. They're very, very kind. Very kind.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So yeah. All right.
Okay.
Oh, Darcy's still talking about the yawn. I'm going to keep yawning, Darcy. Cut that out.
About yawning. Let's do this.
Oh, we can't talk about it. We will be the knitters who never say yawn. That's what we need. Okay. Where are we? I'm lost. Where are we now?
We should probably talk about, did you have anything else? I'm done.
Yes, I did. I had something else. Okay. I would have had two things today. So I packaged up Miles' little tracksuit, and I was so excited about this because it arrived at their house today, and she FaceTimed me at work, and he was already wearing the sweatshirt, and she said she's never seen him do this, but she gave him the box, and she was opening the box, and he pulled it out, and he went right away over to her. He's like holding it up, and she said he doesn't do this with other clothes. So she put it on the sweatshirt, and then she FaceTimed me, and he reached in and he pulled the pants out. And he was already wearing pants, but he takes the pants, carries them over to his dad. He's like, It's like he knew they went. So they peeled off his pants and put on his new sweatpants. And the outfit looked amazing. And then she sent me like 6-ish pictures, but she films it using her or she took the pictures using a different setting on the iPad. And then I can't bring them in here until I convert them. And I waited too long. So you're going to have to wait a week, friends, to see those pictures. It's worth the wait. He looks amazing in the little tracksuit. So I also wanted to show you a picture of what I'm working on, but I didn't get down here in time to do that either. So I'll just show you the pattern front. So the pants that I'm working on that I hope are going to go with the sweater, they're mostly finished. They're sitting over there on the table. I should be able to show you pictures of them next week. I don't know if I'm going to like them or not. I'm still reserving my judgment until I see what they look like in a mirror. So they are called the pleat pant, and they are by Ready to Sew. This is what they look like. So they're kind of like a pair of pants, but they have this like, oops, going the wrong way, this thing that goes across. So it sort of makes them look like a dressy pant, or like, shall I say, a long skirt, sort of. I don't know. And there's 2 versions. So this version here is just the pant with this faux front going across. And then there's this version, which the faux front is actually a pocket. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to look on me. I'm going to be fair. I have hips. So I did not make the pocket version because I was a little concerned that extra fabric is going to add to the hips. So I'm going with this version, which is just the pant with this kind of wrap. It's almost like a wrap front, but I'm making them in black linen. I don't know what I was thinking there. It's hard to see. It's hard to sew. You have to put some like chalk lines in there. Also tricky on the black fabric. The pieces are ginormous because there's no side seams in these pants. It's literally, they are like, well, the pants themselves are 3 pieces because there's the 2 pant pieces and then there's the waistband, and they are a high-waisted waistband, an elastic band. But so the piece that goes like wraps all around and then becomes the front wraps around and then wraps back. So like they're very big, wide pieces that you use for this. I don't know. Yeah. So somebody is mentioning they kind of look like those pants in the 80s. I had those too, where you put them on, but then you kind of like brought them up like through the legs and you wrapped them around and tied them. Do you remember those? And then they tied
those.
You never had those? Oh my gosh. Yeah. You put them on and somehow you like put these strings to the back, but then you pulled the back through the legs. It was like, I don't know. It was the weirdest looking thing when they weren't on, but when they came all the way back up, and then you pull them around to the front and you tied them off. So they kind of wrapped around your leg. I don't know. They were awesome pants. And then when you walk, they kind of like get this like flowy thing going on in the sides. Yes. Isabel remembers. Yes. So they're kind of like that. And Kim is saying, yes, they're a little bit like the Thai fisherman pants. Yes. That is what they are, sort of based on that. So I don't know. I'll give you some feedback next week. They'll be finished. I'm hoping they're going to look good because that's what I want to wear my new sweater with. And if I don't like the way they look, then I don't know. I'll have to go to another plan. But that's what I worked on yesterday afternoon. And it took me longer to put the pattern together. So I know that Julia has told me that I can get these pattern pieces printed at Staples. I can order them, but these ones are like so much wider even than like a regular pair of pants pattern because they just basically wrap around you, that I didn't even know if I could go wide enough at a print shop. So I had to just print them in this size and then put them all together. Well, finding a table big enough to work on and all that Scotch tape. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted. Yeah, but now that I've done them once, if I actually like them,
you've got them.
They're like super simple to do. So we'll see. We will see. Okay. Now.
Okay.
What do we have going on in Ravelry? I'll find some banners.
Okay. You mean, okay, what we've got going on as far as our knit-alongs?
Yes.
Okay. We have our sock knit-along. So our sock knit along is going all year long from January 1st to the end of the year. We draw prizes at the end of every month. We draw both a pattern prize that's donated to us by Natalie from Remembrances Pottery, and we do a sock yarn prize. And then at the end of the year, we have a grand prize. And Natalie has generously donated one of her mugs that we are going to give away at the end of the year. It is so pretty. So that's our sock knit along.
There'll be a draw next week.
That's right, next week, because next week will be May 2nd already.
Yes,
wow.
Already.
So if you're finishing up pants, all you got to do is get them finished and get them into that FO thread on Ravelry. And if you want to show them on Instagram, it's KNP Sock Along 2023.
Yes. Okay. And then the next one we have going on, because I'm going through these quickly, they don't change from week to week. We used to do themed knit alongs like for a couple of months at a time. And this year we're kind of taking a break from that. And we're going to do the same things for the whole dang year.
That's right.
So we've got KNP Smash That Stash. And that is where we encourage you to do a deep dive into any stash that you may have. Basically, the rule is that you have to have had it in your stash prior to January 1st, 2023, and you must use 50 grams of it. And we are doing a prize for that each quarter.
Yep.
And the prize will not be yarn.
No.
So we're not going to add back into your stash.
And then a grand
prize.
Yes, for someone for people that have put a project into every quarter.
Every quarter, yes.
And then our other knit along that we have going on is our Burra Cal, which we're running with several different other podcasters. 3-Ply, Around the Table, Dude Knits, Frivolous and Frugal, Got Whips, Magpie's Cottage, Pandemic Knitter, and PJ Knits. And for that, you just have to knit any Marie Wallen pattern or any Susan Crawford pattern or crochet, because I know Marie Wallen does have crochet patterns as well. And I had a viewer tell me this week too, and especially for someone who might want to do color work, but that's just new to it, that Marie Wallen actually does have a pattern for a hot water bottle cover, which is basically sort of just a tube, and it's free. And if you go on Ravelry, she does actually have quite a few free patterns. So you can take a look on there if you, might see something that might get your color work mojo started. And she also has patterns that are textured. If you don't want to do color work. So,
right.
And that we will be giving prizes at the end of the year. And for that one, I am doing the Burra Cowl. Has not been touched for months, but it is going to be finished for the mini meetup in Chicago. So,
which is in July.
July.
And we are
so
excited
we'll have 2 months after Knit City to do that. So, because I'll have to knit another sweater for
yes, we will. One. Well, summer sweater. Yeah. So it'll be a quick knit.
It'll be.
Yeah, it might be that one. Maybe I'll knit a cravat. Okay. All right. So takeaways from tonight. Knit.
Yeah. Knit all the things.
Make all the things.
Have fun with your knitting.
Have fun.
Enjoy your knitting.
Don't let things stress you out.
I honestly say that cravat was a pleasure to knit.
It was. Really, and you knit it so quickly too. So I know you really liked it. Yes.
Yep. So
that's good. Well, I look forward to whoops. That was a whoops on me, not a whoops on anything else. Marianne says, sparkle on, friends. Yes.
That's right.
I hope. Okay. So I have some decisions to make myself. I have to figure out what sweater I'm going to go with. I'm almost now leaning to the V-back tee just because I think it might be better temperature wise. I don't know. Okay. I have to ponder this.
You don't have to decide right now. That's right. Have a great week and sparkle on.
Yes. Have a great week and sparkle on.
Keep calm and sparkle on.
Yes. And please, if you enjoyed yourself here tonight, please give a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to us and you want to, that would be awesome too. We got some good coverage on YouTube, I think, from the New Zealand episode. Oh, and that is the last thing we should say. If you haven't watched the New Zealand episode yet, please do. There is an opportunity to win these two gorgeous skeins of yarn from the store skeins, and lots of goodies on there about Noelle's trip, what she did, and who she saw, who she knit with, all the good stuff, what she bought, lots of goodies. So, all right.
Okay.
Thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you so much. We enjoy this and are happy to share.
Absolutely.
So take care, everybody. Happy knitting, and we'll see you next week.